Imagine you're a young boy named Kwame, living in Accra, Ghana in 1957. You watch your father bow his head every time a British officer walks by. Your mother whispers stories of a day when Africa will stand tall, free and proud. And one night you hear the radio shout with excitement, "Ghana is free forever." That was the spark, the fire that spread across the continent. The African independence movement had begun. Centuries Africa wasn't free. European powers carved it up like a pie in what they called the Berlin Conference of 1884. Britain, France, Portugal, Belgium, Germany, and others divided over 50 nations, ignoring the people, the cultures, and the kingdoms that already existed. Africa's gold, oil, diamonds, and people were exploited. Schools taught children to forget their languages, and colonial governments ruled with fear and force. But deep within every village, the dream of freedom never died. By the early 1900s, educated Africans started to question everything. Men like Nnamdi Azikiwe in Nigeria, Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana, and Jomo Kenyatta in Kenya began to speak boldly about self-rule. Nkrumah once said, "Seek ye first the political kingdom, and all else shall be added unto you." It wasn't just speeches. Workers went on strikes, students protested, and traditional leaders resisted unfair taxes and land seizures. The seed of liberation had been planted. Some countries gained independence peacefully through negotiation and political pressure. Others had to fight for it with blood, tears, and courage. In Kenya, the Mau Mau uprising raged against British control. In Algeria, the FLN fought a brutal war against France that lasted 8 years. In Congo, Patrice Lumumba rose as a voice for unity and justice. And in South Africa, Nelson Mandela and the ANC stood firm against apartheid. These weren't just revolts. They were the heartbeat of a continent awakening. The 1950s and 60s became known as the decade of African independence. Country after country stood tall. Ghana in 1957, Nigeria in 1960, Kenya in 1963, Algeria in 1962, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, Malawi. The list grew. By the mid-1970s, over 40 nations had broken free. The colonial empires that once ruled millions had crumbled. But freedom wasn't easy. Many new nations faced corruption, poverty, and civil wars. Some leaders were overthrown, others were killed. The dreams of unity often collided with the realities of politics. That's why the Organization of African Unity, OAU, was formed in 1963 to promote peace, cooperation, and a shared African identity. Today's generation walks on the foundation laid by those heroes. When you use your voice, build your business, or create something for your community, you continue the struggle for true independence. Because independence is not just about breaking chains, it's about building nations. Kwame, that young boy from Ghana, grew up to see an Africa reborn. But the story isn't over. It's still being written by you, by me, by all of us. The African independence movement was not the end. It was the beginning of a journey toward unity, pride, and progress. If you believe in the African dream, hit the like button, share this story, and subscribe for more whiteboard videos about Africa's untold history. Together, let's keep the flame of freedom burning.